Hello everyone and welcome back to FM Scout. My name is Steve and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a 17-year-old wonderkid from Germany who turns into a complete beast in this simulation. But just before we jump into the video, if you enjoy the content here on FM Scout, please give it a like and subscribe with notifications on if you're new so you never miss any future uploads. We've got some great content coming up so you don't want to miss it. As I said, my name is Steve, or Levels. I also make YouTube videos with Football Manager stuff, so if you want to come over after the video, subscribe and say hi, that'd be great, it'd be nice to have you. But let's get on with the video. As you can see on screen, we're at Bayer Leverkusen, the home of our wonderkid. Today we're going to be looking at 17-year-old German wonderkid Florian Wirtz. He's currently valued at 3.4 million. He has a 2.5-star current ability with a 5-star potential ability, which is a superb rating for the senior team. I won't say his potential range now, because I don't want to spoil it for any people that don't want to know just yet, so I'll reveal what his potential range is towards the end of the video. As you can tell by his overall stats here, even for 17 years old, he's very, very good. He's got great passing, good technique, great vision, some really good flair, first touch and dribbling. He's pretty much well suited for any role you want to play him in this attacking midfield role. Training wise to start with, we have him on attacking movement because his anticipation, decision making and off the ball could do a bit of work, but they're all pretty decent for his age anyway. And he's only going to improve going forward, but if we just add a bit more work in those areas, maybe it will develop him a bit better. Currently Leverkusen have him listed for loan, but I am controlling them, so I'm not going to loan him out. I'm going to make sure he stays here and he develops with us. In terms of trying to obtain him in your saves, he's just recently signed a contract, so I'm not sure how you'd be able to do that. Like, I tried a little bit off camera with Bayern Munich and I was bidding like 20-30 million and they were having none of it. But if you want to shortlist him in your saves, you might be able to get him a bit cheaper than that. It's further down the line. Or you can take him on loan, because like I said, he's listed for loan. I'm going to jump 1 year into the future, see how he's getting on, and we'll go from there. So we're 1 year into Florian Wirtz's simulation. I'm not expecting anything major to have happened yet. It's just his first year, but I am curious to see how he's done in the league and cups, etc. But just taking a quick little look at him here, he is now 18 years old. He's now valued at 3.7 million. He's up to a 3.5-star current ability, which is a very good rating for the senior team. For Bayer Leverkusen, that's pretty good at 18. And his potential ability is still 5-star, which is a superb rating for the senior team. Looking at his development over the last year, like I said, I'm not looking for anything massive. It's just been 1 year. But he has had slight improvement across the board pretty much. There's a lot of arrows going up here. In his physicals, he has +1 on strength, which is now up to 10. On the mentals, there's a few that have increased. His anticipation has gone up, decision making has gone up, and off the ball. So some of the stuff we're training on has improved, which is good. And his technical attributes are looking great as well. Nothing jumping up yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Looking at how he got on then. So in 34 appearances, he had 13 goals in the league, 4 assists and 2 player of the matches, averaging 6.94. For his age, that is very solid. If we look down here, in all competitions, he played 48 games, 17 goals, 4 assists, 2 player matches. So he's coming along very, very nicely. Like I said, it's only 1 year in. I wasn't expecting anything massive to have changed. But he's got the real potential to develop into a complete star in the Bundesliga and potentially one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. But we'll jump forward 2 more years. We'll see a bit more of a development and we'll go from there. We're in year 3 now. This screen here tells me that he's scoring goals because he's the top scorer for the club. But let's have a look at him. So he's now 20 years old, valued at 5.25 million. I don't know if that's just me, but that seems really low for how good he is. But his current ability is now 4-star, which is a superb rating for the senior team. And his potential ability is still 5-star, so he can get better and become a complete star player for this team. Looking at his attributes then, 3 years into the simulation, it says he's had a major overall improvement in his physical ability. His agility has gone up +1, which is now a 16, which is really good. And his strength's also gone up 2 to a 12 now, so he's getting a bit stronger. Now, like, obviously we don't really need him to be the strongest player in the world, but it's good that that's increasing. He's had slight overall improvement in his technical ability. His corner rating's gone up by 1 to a 13. His first touch is now up to a 16, which is great. Free kick's gone up by 1. Long shots up by 1 to a 13. And his penalty taken's also gone up by 1. But as you can tell by the arrows, there's a lot of upwards trajectory going on here. And the last one to look at is his mental stats. He's had slight overall improvement in his mentals. However, I would say there's some pretty significant jumps here. His anticipation's gone up by 3 to a 16. His bravery's gone down by 2, but I imagine he's been injured somewhere there. Decision making also jumped up by 3 to an 18. His leadership's up by 1 and his off the ball is also up by 3. So the training is working, and the last one, the vision, has gone up by 1 to an 18. Just going back to this screen to look at the stats for a second because I think it's easier to visualize it. There's a lot of green going on and a lot of yellow. The majority of things that he needs to be good at, he is 14 or above in, other than maybe his finishing and his long shots could probably use a bit of work, so I might change his training in a minute. But speaking of his training, he was on attacking movement for the first 3 years, which has clearly helped him loads. His off the ball has gone up, his decision making has gone up, and his anticipation has gone up. So hopefully if we change this to shooting, you'll see finishing, long shots and his technique go up even higher than it already is. But let's have a look to see how he's getting on in the league. So in the last 2 years, let's jump back to 21-22. In 34 appearances, he had 16 goals, 5 assists and 4 player of the matches in the league, averaging a 7.04, which is great. And in all competitions, he had 22 goals and 10 assists in 47 appearances. And then the season that's just gone, in 34 appearances, 16 goals, 3 assists, 4 player of the matches, up to a 7.07. Those 0.3s make a difference in the league. And in all competitions, he played 48 games, 25 goals, 5 assists, 5 player of the matches. He's turned into a complete beast in that midfield area. He's also up to 5'10". I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, but he started at 5'9". He's turning into a complete little beast in that role. He can get you goals, he can get you assists, and he consistently plays well. So we'll simulate another year forward, and we'll see where he's at 4 years into his Bayer Leverkusen career. 4 years in, and I see improvements. Okay, looking at this screen, you can tell he's improved a lot. His value has soared up to 49.5 million. He's now 21. He's a 4.5 star player, which is an excellent rating for the senior team, and his potential is still 5 stars, so he can really be that star player. As it says here, star player can still improve. Looking at his attribute development in the last 12 months, he's had slight overall improvements across the board in his technical, mental and physical. The only stat that's really jumped up is his determination, which has gone up by 2 to a 15, which again is very good. When I'm doing it yearly, you're not going to see the biggest jumps, but I think it is important to check in on him. He is now 21. He's in the key, probably development stages of his career. The only thing I think he could really work on is his finishing, and that does need to improve, but as we can see here, he is working on it, so maybe in another year or so, he'll be up to at least a 13 or a 14. That would be nice. But let's check how he got on last season. In 34 appearances in the league, he had 26 goals, 5 assists and 5 player of the matches. His average rating has jumped up from a 7.07 to a 7.38, so he's really turning into a star player now. In 49 appearances, he got 32 goals and 7 assists and 6 player of the matches, all from midfield, so he has turned into a complete beast of a player. I said earlier in the video that I would reveal the potential ranges later on. So Florian Wirtz potential range is 150 to 180. So obviously there can be a bit of a gulf in his development. But as you can see here, he's clearly on the higher end of that scale. He's turning into a complete machine in the game. I'd highly recommend signing him if you can, but obviously I can't imagine Bayer Leverkusen are going to want to let this type of player go. I'll jump 1 more year into the future and we'll see what happens with him because he's turning into a complete machine. Okay, so 5 years in now to Florian Wirtz's simulation. He's now 22 years old. He's still so young. He's valued at 71 million now. He's a 4.5 star player, current ability, 4.5 star potential ability. It says star player who can still improve, but there's not much left to improve on, to be honest. He looks absolutely incredible. Okay, so looking at his attributes over the course of the simulation, so all 5 years, as you can clearly see down here, and just by using your eye, he's had major overall improvements in literally everything, starting with the physicals. His acceleration has gone up by 1, agility up by 2 to 16, his balance has gone up by 3, I wish I didn't click that. His balance has gone up by 3, pace has gone up by 1, his stamina has gone up by 2, and his strength has gone up by 4, so there's some real good development going on there. And like I said, he's still 22, he's so young, he's likely to develop even more than this. Looking at his technical attributes, again, major overall improvement. His corners up by 3, dribbling up by 1, finishing up by 1 to a 12. First touch up by 1 to a 16, free kick taking and heading both up by 2 each. His long shots have gone up by 3 to 14. His passing's gone up by 1 to a 17, penalty taken up by 2 to 14, and his technique's also gone up by 1 to a 16. And the last area to have a look at is the mental stats. Again, massive improvement across the board pretty much. Anticipation's gone up by 4 to 17. His composure's up by 1 to a 14. His decision making has gone up by 5 to an 18, which is great. He really developed there. Determination up by 2 to a 15. Leadership up by 2. Off the ball up by 4 to an 18, which is a nice jump. Positioning up by 1. And his vision's up to a 19. So this guy is a really good passer of the ball, as you can tell. Looking at how he got on in that last season then, in 34 appearances in the league, he got 28 goals, 4 assists and 8 player of the matches, up to a 7.55 rating. As you can tell by just looking at his ratings here in the league, every single year he's got progressively better. And in all competitions for Florian Wirtz, he had 53 appearances, 37 goals, 7 assists, 10 player of the matches. So he's really turned into a great player. As you can tell by his stats here, there's a lot of green going on here, and some yellows obviously. The only thing I would say he needs to continue to work on is his finishing, but like we just went over in the career stats, he scores quite a lot of goals for a player. He's only got 12 finishing, you know. The last thing to check are his career milestones. In 2024, which was last year, he broke the Bayer Leverkusen record for goals scored in the season for 32, so he's a record setter. Looking at his awards, there is a lot going on here. He's been supportive player of the year, he's in the Bundesliga team of the year, he's had the top goal scorer in the Bundesliga, I think a couple years running now, yeah. He's been first in goals in the Bundesliga for the last 2 years, which is great. He's been German Players Player of the Year. In 2024, he won European Golden Shoe as well, with 26 goals in Europe, which is absolutely incredible. Again, Bundesliga top scorer. He's won a lot of individual accolades. He was also European Golden Boy in 2023. It was Makoko that year, but in 2023, Florian Wirtz. But yeah, this guy's reaped in the rewards in the 5 years. He's 22 and he's got all of that to his name. In 2020, he was a runners-up in the Cup. In 2022 and 2024, he won the German Super Cup. And in 2025, the season that's just gone, he's won the Bundesliga and the Champions League in the same year, which is absolutely great for a 22-year-old. Did he score? Did he score is the question. He did score. So he's scored in the 2-1 win at Chelsea. So he's turned into a complete beast. He's world class, to be perfectly honest. He's valued at 71 million. He's still 22. He's only going to improve. In all honesty, he's scored way more goals than I thought he would. And like I said, with his passing technique and vision and stuff, he can be an absolute great playmaker as well. So he can create goals and score them. I imagine if I wasn't controlling them, Bayern Munich or someone would have snapped him up by now. But that will do it for the video, I think, in terms of simulation. You can let FMSCOUT know if you want to see a career simulation for this guy. I imagine it'd be quite interesting personally, because I think his development has come on absolutely phenomenally. Feel free to let me know in the comments as well, because I'll be reading them and replying to them. Did he come along how you thought he would? Was it better? Was it worse? For me, he's come along way better than I actually thought he would. He's turned into a complete machine and he's only going to improve. So let me know in the comments what you thought of him, who you'd like to see next in the series. And yeah, I think that'll do it for the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe with notifications on if you're new. Like I said, my name is Steve or Levels. I also make YouTube videos. If you want to come over and check me out, that'd be great. The links will be in the description. But that will do it for the video. Thanks a lot for watching and stay safe, and we'll see you soon for another one. Goodbye.